For more now, I'm joined by Jack Dorsey, the co-founder of Twitter and the man behind the product strategy. Jack, welcome back to Bloomberg West. First of all, you've got this new Pew Research study out, but there have been other reports about Twitter that some people have multiple accounts, some people don't really use their accounts. Perhaps the number of active monthly individual users is only like 20-some million. What's the real story behind Twitter's usage?
Well, I think as Dick said on stage today at D9 here, that it's really hard to calculate active usage. That's something that works very well for the web, but Twitter is something very different. People are consuming tweets on their phone, through SMS, through newspapers and all these different mediums. So we don't have that calculation for ourselves. So we're trying to figure out that first, and then we'll share those numbers. But it's been growing by leaps and bounds. People are using it all the time, which has just been awesome to see.
Now, a lot of people use Twitter in conjunction with other services. You just announced your own photo service. You've made rules more strict for third-party developers. You've gone on a mini acquisition spree. Does Twitter need to take more control of the whole ecosystem around Twitter in order to make money?
Well, I think our main focus is just to encourage our developers to build amazing things. And for ourselves and for our service, we're trying to take as much friction out of the service as possible. And that's exactly what you saw with the Photos launch today, and also what we did with search is we're making it even easier and better to immediately be able to upload a photo right from Twitter.com. That's something that people just naturally want to do and something that people look for. So we're just going to put it right there.
Hey, Jack, Corey Johnson in the San Francisco newsroom. So let me ask you about that. Were you guys dissatisfied with the third-party products that were out there that were trying to do that, make it simple for Twitter users to post a picture on Twitter?
No, not at all. It's not about that. It's just, again, removing the friction from what people are doing so that they can immediately get in and participate, and in this case with photos.
Yeah, speaking of friction, Fred Wilson is a guy who friction comes to mind every once in a while. He had this great quote from this TechCrunch conference last week. He said, "Don't be a Google bitch, don't be a Facebook bitch, don't be a Twitter bitch, be your own bitch." Perhaps good advice, but it seems like he's really telling the third-party developers, do it yourselves, we're not going to help you out anymore.
Well, I don't think that was the spirit of what he was trying to say. I think more it's, you need to build a company for yourself, and you need to take all these other companies and all these other platforms in consideration. I think Twitter presents an amazing platform, an amazing set of APIs to really build a business around and build a company around. And I think it just gets better and better as we listen to more of our developers and exactly what they want to do.
Yeah, well, they've got to be ticked off. If at one point Twitter goes out and says, hey, we want you to be part of our universe, help us develop it, and then you say, hey, sorry, we're going to take that one ourselves. See if you can find your own business. I won't quote Fred this time again, but surely some of them are ticked off, no?
Well, I think there's still a lot of room for all these developments, and especially within photos. There's companies that are photo hosting right now, and we're not taking any choice away from individual consumers or people who want to use these photo services. We're just making it easier for the people that go to Twitter.com.
Jack, it's been well reported that not all the Twitter co-founders get along. There have been a number of changes in leadership. Has that ever held Twitter back or kept it from growing?
Not at all. The great thing about any startup and any technology firm is the founders always put the company first, and the company has always been placed first in any one of our conversations. So there's not been a lot of contention within the company. The only time we actually talk about this is with reporters.
So how do you move beyond disagreements? How do you take Twitter to the next step and move beyond all the different personalities within the company itself?
In the same way that you move beyond disagreements in any personal relationship or any human relationship.
So we're going to talk a little bit about Square in the next segment. How's that 200% working for you, doing both jobs? I follow you on Twitter. I know you're working on the weekends all the time. How's that working out?
I work really hard, and it's amazing because a lot of the people at this conference here at D9, they're running companies. They have significant leadership positions within those companies, and they're also raising families. And those are two full-time jobs. I have it easy. These are two of the most amazing companies in the world, and I've arranged my entire life so that I could commit it to these companies. My apartment's across the street from Square, and Square's 2 blocks away from Twitter, and I work really hard. So it's been working out really well because, once again, these companies are not just about individuals. We have 500 people at Twitter, and we have 100 people at Square, and every single one of them helps run this company. It's not dependent on one particular person.
So, Jack, I'm interested to get your take on Google's approach here. Is Google wrong to be making a big bet like this on NFC?
Well, I don't think they're wrong. I think it's a technology, and I think it validates a lot of the space, and something that consumers just naturally want. We need to change the way that people pay, and we need to change the way that people accept those payments, and that's exactly what we're focused on at Square as well. The system has been broken for quite some time, and a lot of the companies that you see entering into this space are addressing just that. We think we're the only ones in the world that are addressing the entire ecosystem and the whole payment experience from the buyer to the seller versus just the individual parts such as coupons or NFC or the payment mechanics. We want to focus on the human experience.
So why is Square's approach better? If the future of payments is not NFC, what is it?
Well, I think there's multiple futures. I don't think there's any one future in payments. And I think that's what sets Square apart, is that we're not focused on just carrying one form of payment. We're focused on carrying every single transaction. If the payer has cash in their pocket, then we carry that. If they have NFC, we carry that. If they have a credit card, we can accept those as well. It doesn't really matter. And what that does for the merchant is they can make a sale every single time, and that's what's most important to them. And that's also what's most important to us.
Hey, Jack, if someone hollers 4, feel free to duck. We can stall or talk about the weather for a moment. It looks rough out there, in the rough. All right, hey, let me ask you about this.
It's rough.
It is, yes, quite literally. So I'm really interested in this space right now because it seems like there's a lot of innovation right now around the idea of payments, and I don't really understand why. What is it technologically that has changed that has so many players, big and small, looking at payments?
I think the biggest technology change is the mobile phone itself. The fact that we are carrying around with us these general purpose computers that know where they are and know who we are. And I think that's the basis for any sort of payments is identity, and that's what the phone provides. In Square's case, the tool you have in your pocket today, that mobile phone, you pair it with one of our little readers, and suddenly you can accept payments everywhere. And it's a payment device that 90% of this country uses, and that's transformational. So that's why I think so many people are looking into it. Is that, like, what can the mobile do? What can have this? What can this general purpose computer in someone's pocket anywhere enable?
Yeah, well, there's also a lot of money in the payment business. I mean, that's got to be some of the appeal here, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's natural revenue models, and certainly, it's something that we enjoy at Square. But it's not really the focus for a lot of these companies. It's not really the focus for a lot of what people are doing in the payments world. It's really just building the network up and building the information around it. And in particular cases, you have people focusing on coupons, and in other cases, you have focus on just the payment device itself. We, again, just want to focus on the entire thing. We don't want to be specific to any one payment device. We want to be completely agnostic to whatever people are using in their pockets and what people are using today.
Jack, Google was going to partner with PayPal in mobile payments, but instead they poached 2 top executives. PayPal has since filed a lawsuit. How competitive is the war for talent in the mobile payments business specifically?
I don't think it's limited to the mobile payments business specifically. I think it's, you have any company is always trying to hire the best people. And this is not just limited to payments or to technology. It's in the news world.
So speaking of top talent, you're a great example of top talent going back to Twitter. When you did go back to Twitter full time, some people compared you to Steve Jobs, who also ran two disruptive companies, Apple and Pixar. What do you think of that comparison?
I don't think about it. It's not something that gets brought up a lot. It's not something that enters in my day-to-day. I'm really focused on just making sure that both of these companies are massively successful, and they will be.
It's certainly a flattering comparison, though, wouldn't you say?
He has great taste, and I certainly admire what Apple has done in the world. But again, it's not just about particular individuals with these companies. It's a whole slew of people. It's a team. And at both of those companies that you mentioned as well, it's a team of people that are working hard to bring this service and to bring these products to you every single day.
All right, Jack Dorsey, very excited to see what you do at both Square and Twitter. Thank you so much for joining us again here on Bloomberg West.